the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. A lot of people are saying this was going to possibly be the national championship. And if it was, my goodness, the Ohio State Buckeyes, ever since playing their rival Michigan, have just been on an absolute tear. Whatever they did, whatever they changed since November 30th, it's definitely working for them, and they need to keep that up. They built up a 34-0 lead over the Oregon Ducks. They ended with they nearly doubled them up in total yardage. Will Howard, again, we didn't know if it could be duplicated, that Tennessee game, and it turns out we were wrong. Like, it could be duplicated. That was unbelievable, that first half. The first quarter again. I don't think it's too far stretched to say Jeremiah Smith might be the best player in college football, period.
Yeah.
He's absolutely uncoverable. It is unreal to be 19 years old and to look like he does and to be that good on such a big stage.
To move like that at his size is just unbelievable. And I've seen the NFL like scouts and the people that cover the NFL were talking about the draft and said that he would be wide receiver 1 right now for approximately 20 teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. And let's start here. I'm sorry. I mean, even Ryan Day talked about it in the post, so we're going to go there. Think about the absolute mental pretzel that Michigan has to have Ryan Day and Ohio State in for them to go the entire season trying to pound the ball between the guards and just run into a brick wall over and over and over again with their running backs, not opening up the offense. Like, I know that Jeremiah Smith caught passes this year and scored some touchdowns, but to really just unleash all of these skilled freak athletes in space that nobody else in college football has like they do. It took until them losing to Michigan for them to do this. Think about the mental pretzel that Michigan really had them in for them to not do this until after they lost that game. Amazing. But either way, that's behind them, and they've literally gone out in these 2 games. And you and I were talking about this the other day with a buddy in our text message, in a little group text. And it's not a hyperbole to say this. They are the most talented football team. I don't even think it's close. They're the most talented football team since the 2019 LSU team. I'm not saying they're the best team. They may be. I mean, they got to finish it off here. We got 2 more games to go. But talent-wise, as far as a collection of talent on the field at one time, Ohio State has the most talent of any team in college football since the 2019 LSU team.
Yeah.
And like, I know it's easy to get caught up in Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka and Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins and Will Howard and all of that stuff that the offense is doing right now. But this team is a bunch of dogs on defense. Oregon. Yeah. Think about who we're talking about here. Oregon. With all of the weapons that they have, dude, nobody could get open. They couldn't run the ball. They literally looked like a bad high school team at one point compared to Ohio State. That's what we're talking about here. And Oregon, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Oregon.
I keep laughing about it because it's just unbelievable.
It really is. It really is. Oregon is elite, a great team with amazing athletes, so much speed. And they could not get open, bro. It was unbelievable. Dude, they couldn't block.
Yeah, they had 8 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
They had negative 23 yards rushing for the game.
13 tackles for a loss, man. Like I know, like I'm not trying to.
We've been waiting forever to see Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau and all those guys just tear up a team. And now we did not think it was going to be the number 1 team in the country. And
yeah, like Tyleik Williams, big man in the middle too. Like, dude, they've got some grown ass men on that defensive front. And then, lo and behold, you go from that, and then their middle linebacker, Cody Simon, looks like the best linebacker in college football all of a sudden. I mean, again, I know he's been really good for them, but like he's really shining now. And then behind that, you got Ransom and Caleb Downs. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It just reiterates again what we said after the Tennessee game, bro. If they play their A game, nobody's beating them.
Yeah.
And not only are you not beating them, you're not coming close.
Yeah.
If they
I'm not sounding like a homer at all, but the one team that has the best chance to do it is Notre Dame because they play most like Michigan out of these teams left.
Yeah, they could line up at the line of scrimmage and withstand it. And again, no, this is going to sound crazy because hell, they haven't beat them in forever. But like at least Penn State knows what to expect going up against Ohio State. Like they've been in the trenches with them,
Yeah.
and they know what that's like. Like, and then that game in Happy Valley was a close game. I know the game in Oregon was also a close game, and that was not even remotely close in this Rose Bowl. But I mean, just to sum it all up, Ohio State ran the ball well. They had explosive runs. The offensive line out of nowhere has decided that now they can block and they can run block. But hey, guess what? Run blocking's a lot easier when the defense has to cover the entire width and the entire length of the field because they're literally shitting their pants on defense, hoping you don't throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Egbuka or get the ball to these athletes in space. Just incredible.
Contrary to popular belief, the passing game can open up the running game. Everybody always talks about the running game open up the passing game. The passing game is just as well to do that. It's just when people say that, it blows my mind. On the defensive side of the ball, we've said it for how many years? Jim Knowles, best defensive coordinator in the country by far.
He is.
I texted you this 4-2-5 that they've been running against Tennessee and Oregon. It's like a hybrid 4-2-5 because they're putting 3 safeties on the field and just putting them back there because they know that their front 6 and then the corners on the edge, but their front 6 can withstand and they can stop your run. And when they can do that, you've got 3 guys back there with Caleb Downs and Latham Ranson. Like you're not going to be able to do anything on them in the pass game because they're going to beat your 5 offensive linemen.
And Downs and
the
Ransom
wrinkles he throws in is unbelievable.
And I know we're not the X's and O's podcast, but like it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this out. Downs and Ransom are both so good and such good athletes at the safety position. They can come down in the box to help out on the run game and then adjust and get back into coverage in the passing game. They're good enough in coverage that they can do that. And also they're so good that if they are back, they see the run so well. Dude, there were multiple times. There was one time, man, Noah Whittington got up. The announcers didn't say anything about it. But Ransom came in and just popped Noah Whittington on just a normal like run play. Whittington gained like 6 yards he worked his butt off to get those 6 yards. While he was fighting for extra yards, Ransom comes in and just delivers a freaking blow to him. Whittington gets up and looks over the sidelines like this. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, your starting running back's already been knocked out of the game. Your offensive line's seeing ghosts. And now flipping this, you know my affinity for Dan Lanning. I love me some Dan Lanning. It's not a secret that him and Kenny Dillingham, they're boys, they're friends, they coach together. The way that they handle themselves in press conferences, the way that they just literally never make excuses. Like after the game, Dan Lanning, somebody mentioned something about Evan Stewart getting knocked out, which is unbelievable that he got hurt in pregame.
Yeah.
And they're talking about he cut him off and was like, guys, I don't care. All that stuff you're saying, all those are excuses. We got flat out whipped here tonight. It just wasn't our night. And some people thought that he was throwing a shot at Ohio State by saying it wasn't their night at Michigan. No, he was just making a point that like, yeah, this team you saw out here tonight, this Ohio State team, that's not the same team that showed up against Michigan a few weeks ago. Like right now, it wasn't our night. It was theirs. A little bit of a joke here that's not really a joke. Phil Knight is sitting around right now looking around the country and going, okay,
I was just going to
which large humans can I find to pay as much money as possible to come play on the defensive line and the offensive line that we can just stack them in waves?
Yeah.
Because I can promise you, Dan Lanning coached at Georgia. He knows and stuff too, that's where the game is won. At the end of the day, Oregon did have a really good line of scrimmage this year, but to win a national championship, what you just saw against Ohio State, even Jeff Schwartz said this, they're still a ways away from winning it all at the line of scrimmage. They've got to get better at the line of scrimmage overall, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think they'll keep building. I think Dan Lanning, this is only going to light his fire even more. I think he's going to keep building. They're just like Georgia. Oregon's not going away. They'll be just fine in the Big Ten next year.
Yep.
But Ohio State, big one against Texas, going down to the Cotton Bowl next Friday night.
I can't wait to break that one down.
That should be a good one. We'll be back on Monday to break that one down per usual.